Hey guys, it's the Squid here and welcome to another Gunpla video. I know I haven't done a video in quite a while, about a month or so, cause I'm sorry I just didn't have the time to. I was focusing a lot on my gaming channel and there was a lot of tests and exams coming up as well, so had to focus on that. But anyways, we are back with a Gunpla video and I've got a kit to do. So this video isn't a unboxing, let's build or review kind of video, it's more of a tutorial kind of video. So what we have here today is a tutorial on how I cut and clean my parts. And yeah, I know some of you better modelers out there may already know or have your own techniques to doing this. My technique is something I am comfortable with, but for those of you who don't really have a good idea on how you should clean your parts decently, hopefully this video can help you a bit. But yeah, I'll be using the high grade Barbatus Lupus kit today, which was released about late last year. So yeah, so far it's a pretty cool kit. I do have the frame all built and assembled already. You can see I have detailed this with silver and gold. Of course this is optional, but I think putting some color in there does make it pop a little bit. Sure looks a lot better. So what we're gonna need, okay, so like I said before, this video may not be for you people who have your own good technique of cleaning parts. This is for those people who are still kind of confused or kind of new to Gunpla building or modeling in general. So we'll be we'll be using the white runner here today. We'll be cutting out a few parts, probably 2 to 3 parts, so I can repeat the process and show you, cause I think some of you may not catch on the first part, but in case you don't, then yeah, you got two more demonstrations. So first we're going to need, of course, is the essential for Gunpla building other than the Gunpla kit itself, and that is the cutters. You need a pair of, they don't have to be like excellent quality, they just have to be decent enough, strong enough to cut through the runner and stuff. Of course, for polycaps you don't need these, but I mean, this kind of stuff you do need this a bit to get it in. If not, you're gonna have a really hard time cleaning up after that. Next you're gonna need a knife here. This is a really cheap art knife I managed to get my hands on. The blade is kind of rusted, as you can see. So focus. Yeah, it's kind of rusted, but it's okay. And of course, I do have come with a bunch of spare blades here in case this one gets too rusted or blunt. This is technically my second blade already, so yeah, when all this runs out I do have to go get another batch of blades, but it's okay, we'll set this off to a side. So just make sure your blade isn't too rusty. If not, you leave some rust on the part you're cleaning, which will make it more annoying to clean up, and it'll just make your kit look a bit stained. If you're going for a clean look, of course, if you don't want a clean look, I think you can mask that with either some paint or your weathering. And last, I got this thing here, which is a pretty interesting thing. It's basically a piece of sandpaper glued onto an ice cream stick. I know some people will use the sandpaper by itself and sand thing, or use a file. I use this is like somewhere in between. So basically, it's really simple to make one of these, pretty cheap as well. Just get an ice cream stick, a bit of sandpaper. Doesn't matter how much you use, as long as you get a bit and enough to wrap around the whole stick. So what you do is just cut off the top here, and then you just glue the sandpaper around. So it has primarily two functions. Technically, it's not built for that, but because the shape of the ice cream stick kind of serves that. So this side is the thinner, narrower side, which can help get into those really small areas that it's hard to get with like your fingers usually, or a file. I think files should be able to reach there, but this will help you get those areas pretty easily because it's relatively thin. It's about 0.3 cm, 0.1 to 0.2 cm thick. And then we have this really broad side on two sides here, which can help to, just get rid of those bigger surfaces you need, so you don't have to spend a long time brushing with the narrow side. So that's good. I think in total these tools should not cost you more than about 7 Singapore dollars or so. So let's start here. Alright, so let's get to work. What I ideally want to achieve is a piece like this here, which is pretty much almost pretty good. As you can see, no real marks, but I'll show you a bunch of the previous techniques I used to use and tell you the disadvantages of those and the advantages along the way, so you can learn a bit as well. So here's the white runner of the Barbatos lupus, and what I would use to do, alright, let's take a piece from the, alright, let's take this piece here, this C13, this piece here, the one I'm pointing to. What I would use to do is literally take the, because this thing has a flat side, as you can see, one side's flat, one side is bent, so if you use this way, it will create a bit of a gap, which is something I used to do as well. But when I first got these, I would cut them straight like this, direct. You can see zero gap there. And the thing I realized about it is that when I cut them, if I can just take a bit of plastic here, it would leave marks like this. As you can see, it does leave these kind of marks, and those are an extreme pain to clean. Sandpaper usually gets the job done, but not perfectly. Knives can't get in there because it's, imagine it's like a flat surface, but then because I cut it so close, I kind of remove some of the plastic off the piece as well, so there's a little dent in there. So it's like straight, then suddenly there's a slight dent and like that, so it's like there's a hole there, which makes it really hard to clean. So eventually I just changed my style and started using the cutters this way. Of course, this is a good way too. I mean, it does leave that bit there. So what happens here is that you will be left with a piece with a bit of plastic on, probably something like this. You can see a small piece of plastic. And what I would do this is my second method, I would go in there and just snip it right off. So it's basically leaving a bit, then going right in again, which is a bit counterproductive because it just left a mess of these bits here. As you can see, these tiny bits, and they are really hard to get rid of. So yeah, that didn't work because once again it leaves a dent in there. And then those were the cutting methods I used to use. And then back when I first started, I just used sandpaper, not on the stick, just normal sandpaper, and sanded it. But then I ended up sanding either too much or too little, so it's never just the right amount. It's kind of annoying. Then after that, I went to the knife, not this knife. I used like a normal pen knife, Swiss Army knife kind of knife. Started doing that, but those knives, yeah, they're just not built for this kind of work. So eventually I managed to get my hand hold on this knife and get this. So now I'll show you the method that I currently use. It's kind of an in-between of one, is like an improved version of methods 1 and 2. So what I'll do, okay, let's just use this big piece here, it's slightly easier to see. So this piece, I'm holding on to this one here. Okay, so what I would do is I would go in. Okay, as you can see, there is a little bit of room. It's hard to get to do this because there's a camera in between me. So it's just a little bit, because if I use this side, you can see it will be left with one whole chunk there, which we don't want. I would like less, so less is more here, but not zero, so just about here. This point where there's a bit of gap, if I cut here, you can see there's still a bit of that, but it's okay. I'll show you how to clean that up later. So we're gonna do the same for all the points here. So once again, leave just a little bit of that gate, that just really little as possible, but not too little, just so it's just nice. About, it should not be thicker than this much of gate left on the runner, so it's not too hard to clean off as well. So oops, okay, so now we're gonna do the same again. So we're gonna go in here and leave a bit of gap and cut it off. So if I put this runner down, what we're left with now is this piece here with points 1, 2, and 3. So now what I would do is I would take my knife. So as you can see, there's a sharp end one side, so I'll rest my blade towards one end, level it with the normal plastic which wasn't held by gate, and then I'll just slide it along. where the little bit of plastic was, and you can see it removes it. So what you do is just continue in this direction until your blade can run smoothly. So as you can see, it gets stopped halfway through because there's the gate there. But then when I continue, it shaves it off. So what I'm doing is basically shaving it off real slowly. Then you're gonna go from the other direction and do the same thing again. This time just going down, 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 down. And if there's any imperfection, because of course you're not gonna get this perfect, one way to test whether it's good enough is you can run your fingernail along it, and then if you feel a bump, yeah, it's not really done yet, and that's where this thing comes in. So what you can do is you can just sand it on just a little bit, just stroke it down a little bit, and this should give you an almost perfectly smooth surface. So this is where the gate used to be. Of course you can still see a bit there, but it's almost perfectly invisible, so that is what we want. As you can see, that is perfect, almost perfect. There's no dents, no excess plastic that we don't want, no bits and pieces here. These are all the old bits I have, but no real bits and pieces, because you're just shaving it into like just almost powder-like thing. So we're going to test again, so we're going to show you again. So this one here, as you can see, there's a gate there, pretty obvious. So what we're going to do is put our knife level to the plastic and then just drag it down slowly. You don't want to do this too fast, you want to go it slow. Do not push your blade down, because if you push your blade down, you'll make a dent in the plastic, which is something you don't want. So you're just going to level it and then just drag it along real slowly. Drag it along, drag it along, drag it along. So once you've done with this side and this side feels smooth, you gotta go from the other side, because you can see one side is pretty much smooth, but then there's that little bump there. So what you do is do the same thing from this side, level it and just drag it along. Like I said, don't push down, just drag it along the surface and it should remove that. And then after that, if you can go over with your sandpaper again, just get it down until it's level with the rest of the plastic, and just clean off that bit of dust there. As you can see now, there is almost nothing left, which is pretty amazing, and that's the thing we want. So the final demonstration before we end this video is it's here again. Alright, so this one is a bit more. So you do once again, level your blade with the plastic. Don't push it down, like I said already, and just drag it along. You can tilt it up a bit so you can shave it off bit by bit, and then you can just shave it off. Continue this pattern until you got it pretty much level. Alright, as you can see, it's kind of working. I'm sorry if the lighting is a bit poor, so you're trying to fix the lighting a bit. But then next you're going to switch over to the other side. The other side should be less strokes, less cutting, because you've already pretty much cut off everything this just to make it a bit more leveled. So you're just going to do the same thing on this side. Just drag your knife along, and then after that you're just going to feel it. If it still feels a bit bumpy, you can either go over it with a knife again, or you can just do what I do, just go over it with a bit of sandpaper. Just smoothen the thing. This is just, I don't know what grade it is. Just found some sandpaper. It doesn't have to be a specific grade, I think. I mean, of course, if you want it to be absolutely perfect, but what I'm going here is to just remove any gates, make it as nice looking as possible. And here we have a piece that looks almost perfect. That looks perfect, pretty much perfect. You can see no bits of plastic, no obvious denting around, which is what we want. So this is an example of a model piece that you want to get. Of course, you just take your time and practice. I suggest going for high grade first, so you have a bit more practice with it. Go for a more white-ish kit, because they hide the marks easier if you can't do it properly the first time. Yeah, so you go practice this. Like once again, like I said in the start of the video, this is meant more for the beginners or people who who can't decide on a proper method on how to clean your nut bug. So of course this is not really meant for you pros out there who have those really cool those really nice methods on cleaning it properly. This is just my method. Some of you may not agree with it, some of you may want to use it, but it's purely up to you. So anyways guys, that's about it, and this is the squid blooping off.